Lecture topic: Humility in the face of abuse.
Yesterday we discussed the aspect about وَيَدْرَؤُونَ بِالْحَسَنَةِ السَّيِّئَةِ. This is mentioned alongside salah, zakat, etc. So this highlights how important this is, that those who return bad treatment with good treatment. So those who understood the reality of this, they practiced on it as well. Generally, we understand only one part of it, an eye for an eye. But then that's what we understand, an eye for an eye, that is in its place. That's what's part of the law of deen, that if a person wants to take revenge, then it has to be in equal proportion. That is what is being referred to here. It cannot exceed in any way. But when it comes to taking action, then it's not just an eye for an eye, then you will take two eyes for one eye. Then a person doesn't realize where he is, what he's doing, what he's saying. But the spirit that deen has taught us is that وَيَدْرَؤُونَ بِالْحَسَنَةِ السَّيِّئَةِ. This is the spirit and the mizaj of deen. There was one great personality, Amr ibn Maymun, rahimahullah. Somebody came and they started saying a whole lot of things, reviling him, accusing him falsely as well, and saying a lot of things against him. When the person finished off, said to him, whatever you have said which is true, Allah Ta'ala reward you for it. Because there are certain things that you said which may have been applicable to me, so Allah Ta'ala reward you for it, because you've highlighted my weakness now, which helps me to address it. Because now I became more conscious of it, so you told me something that I need to now correct, so Allah Ta'ala reward you for that. So whatever you said which is true, Allah reward you for it. And whatever you said which is untrue, which is baseless, Allah Ta'ala forgive you for it. And that was the end of the story. There was nothing further. That's it. So there's either one of the two things. What you said was valid, was true, was correct, or it was not correct. So if what you said was true, then that's a favor upon me. Now if somebody has to say something that's correct to us, which is valid, which is applicable, our immediate response is, worry about yourself. Or who are you to tell me? All these kind of statements and responses stem from pride. When a person has pride, he is unable to accept any correction, despite knowing within himself that what I was told is correct. Despite knowing in his heart that this is applicable to me, this is correct. But pride becomes the barrier. Batarul haq, that the person cannot accept the truth. So that's a very serious problem. So one is the aspect of يَدْرَؤُونَ بِالْحَسَنَةِ السَّيِّئَةِ. This is far behind that. You can't even accept the correction. In fact, even if that was wrong, to repel it and dispel it in a better manner. Now here also shaitan puts all kinds of wasawis in our mind, that if this person's islah is not going to get made, he'll carry on harming others like this also. So I need to sort him out. So we only felt that need to make his islah when we were the victims. But when somebody else was a victim, we also joined in the fun. That time we didn't think about it, that this person's islah needs to be made as well. So that too was only our own nafs that was now speaking, that because I became the victim, I need to settle the score. So these are all just fronts that we put forward in order to appease ourselves that what I need to do now is the correct thing. What I'm doing now is the correct thing. So one is somebody who has that responsibility of correcting somebody, then he must correct him. But otherwise, the first level of reaction is, this is our training period. If we train ourselves correctly here, then we'll be able to act correctly later. So the training period, there are many things that a person then has to scale back. Sometimes he is entitled to say something, but now is his training period. In the training time, he will leave out many, many things which is normally okay. Why? Because it has to train himself. So now he has to learn how to accept things, be quiet about it, and take it in his stride. Then deal with it in an appropriate manner later if necessary. So now in the training time, then you don't worry about who else I need to sort out, otherwise this person might take advantage. If that is becoming a problem, then you will relate that and mention it to those who are responsible for it. They will address it and take care of it. But from your level, this is a training period. So now we need to learn how to conduct ourselves when we are faced with these kind of challenges. Otherwise, then this becomes the natural first response for the rest of a person's life. As soon as somebody says something, before that person has finished off saying what he wants to say to, he's already trying to defend himself. Whether what is being said is right or wrong doesn't matter now. Whether what is being said is valid, not valid, that doesn't matter. But nobody should say anything to me. So before the person finished saying what he's saying also, we are already, attack is the best form of defense, so we're already attacking him too now. That is a very, very despicable way of conducting oneself, that becomes the natural first response. It means that the whole tabiat has changed. The whole tabiat has become completely opposite to what it should be. Then anything and everything will bring out, because that becomes the natural reaction now. So it's just like person presses a button, the same thing happens every time he presses that button. So anybody touches that button, the same kind of response starts. That is very poor character. That is very low akhlaq. The akhlaq requires, starting point, you listen carefully. Listen calmly. After having heard carefully and calmly, now consider it. And if it is correct, then accept it. And if it is not correct, then in our training period, Allah Ta'ala forgive you. So this is the way that we will then learn to think carefully, and out of that 10 things which we would have normally just rejected offhand, when we think carefully, we'll find, no, 5 of these things were applicable to me. 5 of these things were for my benefit and were correct. This will help us to improve and correct ourselves. Allah Ta'ala give us that.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है।